What is going on today? What, another one? Another one? Ladies and gentlemen, slimes and dimes, welcome back to the channel. If you know, you know. If you don't, hit the button below. Today we're back with another DJ VLAD interview. He's interviewing Elliot Wilson on EMINEM dissing XXL, which I believe that caption's incorrect because I know Elliot Wilson left the source to go to XXL, so I feel like this caption's a little messed up, but I think it's really EMINEM dissing XXL on the Marshall Mathers song off the Marshall Mathers LP CD in 2001 or 2002. I can't remember the time frame off the top of my head, but I love hearing this lore of that time because that was when like I was in peak. I love this rap, hip hop, beef, this stuff time. Like it was peak form for me. I was rocking with it. I was loving it. I was like, give me all of this every single day. So like this is really what made me a true like rap fan, was like this moment between all of it. And if you haven't seen my previous like EMINEM videos, Nailing the Coffin, The Sauce, the Angie interview prior to, I believe, Nailing the Coffin or The Sauce, go check those out in the playlist below. It's all there for you. I've been on this rap lore for a while, so hearing this right now is going to be great, man. So we're going to hop right into it.
You quit, but like I had mentioned earlier, XXL was already an entity.
Yes.
From like a year before that.
Yes.
So you quit the source.
I don't think fully
Vlad, tell your people to get the captions right, though.
Well, they had Jay-Z on the cover. Jay-Z Master P on the cover, right?
Okay. Yeah, of course.
So I remember I bought that issue.
The truth.
Your name was not on there yet. No. But then you show up. So what? You left the source and go straight to XXL?
XXL.
No, I finished the book of rap lists. I dedicated myself to leading my team to, help us get this book out. So we did the book and got it done. And then I got a call. Shout out to, I don't know if you know John Schechter.
Yeah.
Was the founding editor-in-chief.
Yeah, very well. Yeah.
So I love that era of the source, the original Mind Squad, right? I idolized all that shit. So Dennis Page, the publisher of XXL, was like, struggling with, these guys were cool that's running this thing, but they can't get the book out on time. They can't up the level of monthliness of like getting it out more often, more issues out. Like the output's not there. Like we have the access to these artists, but we can't get the book out to this level. So he asked John, who's out there that could run this magazine, and Schechter recommended me. So that's when I sat with Dennis Page, and I got the job in like 99, end of 99, and I took over, and I ran it from 99 to 2008.
Okay, when you joined XXL, could you have negotiated like an ownership stake in it, or was it? Because I mean, Harris Publishing was a sizable organization, but
it wasn't his thing. It wasn't worth owning. It was not. I remember the first big conversation we had was we agreed to my salary, and then Dennis Page was like, "Look, I'll give you another $5,000 a month if you could get the book out like by this date. Like, can you really get it out monthly? Can you meet these deadlines, right?" So he was gonna incentivize me to meet deadlines, and then I was like, okay, this sounds great. I appreciate that. I love this extra $5,000 a month, but I'd rather it be a bonus of performance of what this sells or whatever. Because my thing is like, I want to have as much time as I can to get a magazine done. Let's say at the last week I can get a bigger cover. I want the flexibility to like get the cover that's going to sell more. Then, I can't do it. I reached my deadline and all the files are in. Give me my money. It's a conflict that I looked at it. So I stretched the envelope of like what it takes to get it done in time. So they embraced that part of it, and I got results right away. The first issue I did with DMX, which was like the 13th issue they ever did, sold 40%. 40% was the measure of success. If a magazine sold 40%, I got my $5,000 bonus. And most times with the $5,000 bonus, I wasn't selfish. I like bought everybody iPods, or bought everybody DVD players, or bought everybody Cristal bottles or whatever back in the day. Like I wanted us to move around like we were number one, even though we were like grossly not selling anything near to the source. I wanted to build this sort of championship mentality that we have the best magazine. So I would break my people off and live that way.
Well, right around 2000, EMINEM had a beef with XXL.
Well, he already had a beef. I inherited his beef. I tried to resolve it.
What?
Inherited the beef from
they had wrote an article before I got there, like questioning white person running hip hop, the white MC. So he was offended by that. He was in a good rapport with the source at the time.
Prior.
So he was anti-XXL. when I got to XXL, my first mission was resolve this beef with Eminem, get Eminem on my side, and he wouldn't accept it. So then I did a whole magazine against him in 2000 because he wouldn't embrace me yet. And then he dissed us on the Marshall Mathers album.
Exactly.
Yeah.
XXL.
That was a slight. Because the first issue, I did put a nasty illustration that I regret to this day about his mother spanking him or something.
That's why it's important to listen to the sources sometimes, because I definitely took that as he was dissing the source and being like, huh, okay, all right. Thought XXL was screw the source and call XXL. Interesting.
So he's talking about that. Go to the back of the magazine, picture my big white ass. He's talking about the exact first. That's my first issue. So he's talking about that. But it's legendary, man. Look, I got this on the title track of Marshall Mathers LP, which is a classic. So
yeah, he said, then to top it off, I walked to the newsstand to buy this cheap ass little magazine with a food stamp. Skip to the last page, flip right fast. What do I see? A big picture of my big white ass. Okay, let me give you motherfuckers some help.
XXL.
Magazine should have so much trouble to sell.
I'll buy a couple myself.
Fuck it, I'll even buy a couple myself.
My first issue.
Marshall Mathers.
My first issue. And that wasn't my intent. Was I trolling Eminem? I didn't think I was. I didn't know what I was doing, man.
See?
I was out here trying to get it done
at the time, and I completely thought it was that.
By 2002, 50 Cent started to blow up.
Yeah.
And he was filming his first music video in the club. Well, actually, his second music video. I guess Wankster was the first one. And you guys were there for a magazine photo shoot during in the club, taping.
Yeah, Noah did the interview from Complex. Noah Callahan Bever.
Oh, okay. Yep. Nice. And Suge Knight showed up.
That's what I heard. I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there?
I didn't go to the shoots.
Okay.
My ass is back home in New York. It was in Cali, right? Yeah.
Right. Well, but I remember right around that time, it's like XXL, I feel like, really embraced 50 Cent, Interscope, Eminem.
Absolutely.
And that's when you start seeing these covers.
If you be the cash, I'll be the rubber band. If you be the cash, I'll be the rubber band.
No, it was like Dre, 15M on the cover. And
I don't know if you noticed
that cover.
50 Cent doesn't like me.
You don't bang with Elliot no more?
Let's give 50 Cent all the credit in the world. 50 Cent was the
so
reason
Elliot got
I was able
with
to
mad people.
finally resolve this conflict I inherited with Eminem and join the situation. Because we were supporting him. I remember going to the office and everybody's pumping these mixtapes and everything. 50's like the hottest guy. And I would always pride myself on don't get so caught up in New York shit. It's not all about New York. There's a whole world out there. But you couldn't deny his impact. So I remember going to the office and I was like, everybody's pumping 50 Cent mixtapes. So we just started doing these stories on him and just continually putting him in the magazine, continually showing the support. Vanessa Satin, who runs it to this day, built a great rapport with him. So we just kept supporting him. So when he signed with Eminem, we were like, oh shit, is he gonna cut us off? Because we had dealt with this before, where it's
the game in a chokehold.
Vanessa was dealing with Silk the Shocker, and he was super cool. And then I fell out with Master P, and then Silk the Shocker basically called us and was just like, I can't fuck with y'all no more. So I was like, is he gonna Silk the Shocker us? It's like 50 gonna say, I can't fuck with y'all. Eminem and those guys don't fuck with you. He ended up being the bridge to help solve the situation, right? And then what happened was Benzino made a record dissing Eminem at the same time.
It was like, word.
So then I went to have a meeting with Paul Rosenberg to resolve this conflict. Paul Rosenberg, as you know, is Eminem's partner and manager.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the 50 Cent cover, that cover you're talking about. I wanted just 50 Cent in that cover. So we had this whole sit down, this Lure Fish Bar in New York, and Noah's there.
Best cover y'all ever had, in my opinion.
Paul's like, well, how would you like an Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent cover? And I'm just like, is he fucking with me? I would just take 50 Cent.
You have to, though.
And then I was like, he's like, you didn't hear last night? And I was like, what happened last night? He's like, Benzino put out a diss record, Pull Your Skirt Up. And DJ Clue had played it the night before. I hadn't even heard it.
Great track,
I missed it. So I was like, so that's what I inherited. So everything led to having that moment. But if we hadn't supported 50 Cent, it wouldn't have led to it leading to the resolution where I could get Eminem on my side and Paul, we could resolve this. And then Interscope took an adversarial approach against them once they realized Source kept being consistent about dissing them. So then they eventually pulled all the advertising from the Source and gave it to us, which empowered us to want to run it. We began that going back then,
What is your problem with 50 Cent?
I have no problem with 50 Cent.
What's his problem with you?
I don't know. You have to ask him. I just think we never really got along. Everything was done through Vanessa at that time.
Williams?
And I think he doesn't necessarily love that, after the magazine stuff, I did Rap Radar with Paul. He wasn't involved with that. He created This Is 50.
He did that with the headphones too.
I think I remember it was around that time because I moved to New York in 2002 as a mixtape DJ, and I just threw myself into the culture.
That makes sense.
And there started to be the back and forth between XXL and the Source, and you guys had, like near the back of the magazine, you'd have these drawings. You had a drawing of Benzino with like gray cornrows, and I think he might have had a son also, and he like showed up at the office. There was some sort of confrontation or something.
Showdown. Yeah,
that was
absolutely.
in the beef DVDs.
Yeah, that was the thing. So, and you know what happened with that issue? That was an issue that was guest edited by 50 Cent. So that idea was 50 Cent's
so
idea.
Been on that type of time, huh?
But unlike 50 Cent, I wasn't running around in bulletproof trucks and had my bulletproof vest and had my guys and everything. So I took the brunt of it. But it was my decision to give 50 Cent the authority to make that idea. So again, I didn't learn my lesson. I did a bad EMINEM illustration that led to the Marshall Mathers moment, and then I allowed a bad Benzino illustration. So that was the final thing where it was like, you know what? This has been like this sort of like behind the scenes battle, but we got to face each other. So Benzino and Dave Mays and some other guys came up to the office, and we had the big showdown, the big screaming match. And I always say, like, thankfully, I didn't get hurt. No one got hurt. But Benzino was giving me the business. He sprayed me out. It was like, what I'm saying, we watch
Boston, baby.
Especially in the 70s, like old baseball games when like the umpire's yelling at the manager.
Yeah.
And it's like so intense, and he's like damn near spitting on him and blah, blah, blah. And that's what it was. And what I was worried about was Dave was in the lobby, and he kept hitting the elevator like to get out. So it's like, obviously at this point, someone's called the cops. Someone's going to come. So we only have like a real short window of whatever our altercation is going to be. So we're literally like in the reception area. All my staff is over here. Ray's yelling at me. Dave's over here. And then Ray's got two guys that look official. And one guy's looking at me like I'm a steak, and he's just waiting for the green light go. And I was just like, this guy's really going to hurt me. This guy right here is really going to hurt me. So eventually, it died down. The yelling just didn't happen. We never had an altercation, thankfully. But yeah, so what happened after that was I said, you know what? I'm going to stop dissing them. Because you got to think about it. From the beginning I took over the magazine, every month I would diss
magazine
them.
War.
I would clown them consistently. I felt like I had to bully them because, what happened, to take it full circle, I remember when I was there in XXL launch, like you said, I felt like they were very threatened by that. They didn't want competition. They didn't want the idea that anybody could be bold enough to say,
this is what I screamed.
We could be as good as you. So I felt like even though I'm so small, I got to make them feel like I'm crazy, and I almost have to bully the bully. So I took a very aggressive stance against them. But after the Benzino incident, I was like, I have to change my approach, or else I'm going to get hurt or someone's going to get hurt. Because it's reached that height. So I stopped dissing them, and I was like, I'm just going to prove I'm better than you, and I'm not going to focus on you anymore. Like, you're over. I'm number one. And that led me to finally actually becoming number one. Because back then, I still wasn't number one. I was just running around like I was number one.
I like that little piece there, man. I'm glad I ran across that. I didn't even expect to really do that today. I was actually going to do something completely different. But I saw that, and I know that history is something that I assume clearly I was wrong on the Marshall Mathers. But I think I've also mentioned that my timelines might be messed up. So there's a disclaimer there. But that's dope, man, that, to see, especially after I kind of started doing this about a month ago, to see that, like, this is something that's still talked about. There's still a lot of, like, behind-the-scenes stories that are just now coming out. Like, I feel like I've said this, too. Like, at some point, these things are going to start coming out. And, like, I'm really excited to start hearing these stories because you only hear a lot of things on wax, and you can only kind of put your own twists and perspective to it. And I forgot that whole other lyric in the Marshall Mathers song to begin with. So I just remember just that one part. But once again, it's been over, like, 20 years, 15 plus years since I really like remembered or heard that song and like remembered every lyric. So my bad. Play as fuck up, you know what I'm saying? I'll own that, man. But at the end of the day, man, like Benzino, like I've said multiple times on this channel, he lost that battle with the magazine because he was focused on the wrong things. He was trying to go too much at M. He was trying to go at the cash cows of the people that were running the game. Like, if you wanted to have your magazine kind of explode, I feel like you needed to have what Benzino would call is the machine of the industry in your favor. And you hear it here in this interview with VLAD. That's clearly what had happened. Like, they went and made amends because he had beef with Eminem, and he clearly made the amends with that because he wanted the 50 Cent. So there's obviously another ulterior motive there. But you have to mend relationships to make things better and have your product grow. And that's where I think Benzino had that downfall of the Source magazine. So unfortunately, like, what Elliot said is, in my opinion, from watching it in that time and just kind of obviously understanding it from a different perspective at 12 and 15 or whatever to now, I saw that come a mile away. Like, I was like, oh yeah, XXL's coming up, because the Source slowly started getting pushed to the back when magazines was popping. So let me know how y'all feel about that interview, man. Do y'all think that XXL beat out the Source? Do y'all feel like they were both whack magazines? I don't know. Some of y'all might not be familiar with the magazines back then or whatever, but let me know how y'all feel about that in the comments below. This goes to show that Eminem won that battle in the magazine side, and he also killed the Source with doing that, because he was the guy at the time. So the Source started to decline after that. So I'll be back with another one, man. I enjoyed this mic here today. I try to improve certain things little by little, but don't forget to like, comment, and share. I'll be back. I'm out. Peace. We got more easy. We got more fun. We got more.